Okay, so this problem is problem of the week. AMC Waterloo, grade 10. And so in this problem, it basically states that. And so let's just, instead of saying the names, because they're trying to confuse you with the names, like what is Bill, Jana, C's, like they're trying to confuse it. So I'll just list it as A, B, C's, or like as it says here. So A is 180 meters west of B, and C is 450 meters east of B. So it says, at the same time, A and C begin walking, but A walks north, which is up. Well, it doesn't really matter if it's up or down, it's just different directions. So because north is always up and south is always down, let's just keep it the original way. And it says A walks up a consistent rate of 75 meters, and C walks south at a consistent rate of 90 meters, and B does not move at all. So after after X minutes of walking, when will the distance of AB and BC be 2 to 1, a ratio of 2 to 1? So at first, a lot of people are really confused because let me draw this out real quick. So what it's basically saying is a C, this is B, A 180, this is 450. And a lot of people are usually confused here because, well, okay, so this ratio is 450 to 180, which is actually 2.5 to 1. Okay, so the ratio, it starts, like, how do I say it? It starts more extreme. Because it's not before 2, it's after the ratio of 2. But the thing that confuses most people is, look here. So the rate of 75 minutes. So A walks 75 minutes. Oh, A walks 75 minutes up, and C walks 90 meters down. So that's where a lot of people get confused. Because, wait a minute. People usually think, okay, so already the ratio is more extreme. But then, if it's 75 and 90, won't it start becoming, like, the ratio will become bigger, won't it? So, you have to use, so that's why solving this problem intuitively is not the best idea. Usually solving it with algebra is definitely better in this case. So, what you gotta do is, let's say this length is, let's count t as the amount of time that's passed. 75t. And the good thing about this is here, t is gonna be the same. Except it's just 90. So here, this length. Okay, so now what you can do is you can realize that, let's say, so instead of putting this, now let's put this as A and let's put this as C, because these and these are not really important coordinates anymore. So now you can see BC equals 2AB. And that's what we're trying to find. This is the case we're trying to find, where BC, this is 2 and this is 1. But 2 and 1 is just the ratio, not the actual numbers. So be careful with that. That's 2 and 1. So now BC, we can actually just square both sides, because you can see that this is the hypotenuse of a Pythagorean theorem. So, no, of a right angle triangle, not a Pythagorean, of a right angle triangle, which means you can apply the Pythagorean theorem. And applying a Pythagorean theorem, you square both sides, square. BC square equals 4.
Always a warm welcome back at the train. This is Asia's newest luxury sleeper train.
Square. So now you can plug in.
And sure,
BC squared becomes 450 squared plus 90t squared. And then you can also put 75 squared. Okay, so AB squared becomes 75t squared plus 180 squared. So that's a really good. So now you can have like terms, which really helps in this situation. Okay, So now you need to do a bit of calculation here. And of course, in Waterloo, you can use calculators, so I'm going to be using a calculator here too. So 90 squared.
So it's really achy.
4 times 180 squared, which is significantly less, plus 75 squared. T squared. Okay, but you have to remember you have to multiply to 4, of course, so. Let's write the terms of t first. So it comes to 100t squared plus 129,900, which becomes 1,800t squared plus 22500. So now 8,100 minus 2,250 equals 5,850t squared. Did you send that side? Oh. Wait, no. Oh wait, I just realized. Yeah, that's not what I was supposed to do. Okay, so I'm supposed to 22500 minus 8100, which becomes 1,404 t squared, which becomes 202,500 minus 129,600 from 72,900. And if you couldn't use calculators, the best thing would be eliminate the zeros. But in this case, it actually doesn't really matter because you have a calculator right here. So that means t squared will equal 729 divided by 144. Okay, so this is the one case where you shouldn't have a fraction. Well, wait, you could also just square root and then do answer, and that becomes 2.25. So that means t squared becomes 5.02625. So that means t equals 2.5. And you know what 2.5 means? We can't just put it t equals 2.5. That means t equals 2 1/4, which means the time is 2 minutes and 15 seconds. There, so that's the answer. So you have to especially remember in Waterloo you can use calculators. So this problem, if you didn't have calculators, would be really daunting because it has a lot of squares. 450 square, 180 square, 75 square, 90 square is very daunting without a calculator. And you're very prone to calculation mistakes and time consuming. But because you have a calculator in Waterloo, you have to be confident. And you have to remember that even if your t square is a very weird number, just like mine, 5.0625, you still have to realize that, oh, I can just square root it instead of keeping it as t squared equals 729 divided 144. And if you have a calculator that reduces the fraction, great, then you got it. But I'm just saying you don't need it. You don't essentially need it to solve this problem. So even if you have a t squared that's weird, maybe that means t is a decimal. T does not always have to be a full number. So that's why this answer is the time for it to be 2-to-1 ratio is 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Thank you.